Hello and welcome to What Keeps You Awake.tv. It's time again to dive into the hustles, the hurdles, and the highs that keep small business leaders up at night. I'm your host, David Hooser, and I'm lucky to welcome today's guest, Kelley Hutta. Hope I did that right.
You did.
All right. You can't get that, Kelley, or the sounds like,
Yeah.
but love it. Love it. You're my kind of gal. Kelley's the owner and chief instructor of Chandler Martial Arts Center, where they believe in helping every student reach their full potential. Great mission. She brings her 35 years of experience to the business and realized early in her entrepreneurial journey that the most important person on the mat is the white belt. That'll lead for some fun conversation. Kelley, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
We're lucky to have you referred to us by our mutual friend.
Definitely.
So let's get started with our foundational question.
Of course.
Tell me, as you build tomorrow's leaders,
Yeah.
one white belt at a time,
Yes, sir.
what keeps you awake late at night?
You know, honestly, the most stressful part of my job, regardless of which hat I'm wearing, is do people feel like they're welcomed? Do they feel like they belong? I think
Okay.
that's the thing that is the most pivotal thing that keeps me awake at night. How are we creating an environment that's both inviting, reassuring, but challenging people? And that's an interesting line to walk, you know, between
Okay.
trying to challenge someone to their full potential, which often requires having them step outside of their comfort zone. Yeah. While at the same time creating an environment that they feel safe to do that.
And you have about 100 and
About 150 students.
50 students.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so you've got to try and make them all, and they're all varied levels.
Yep, all varied levels, different, you know, and everyone has
Ages?
ages, everything from 4 years old to, I think we have an 80-year-old. Actually, they just moved, but in our dojo. So yeah, it's an amazing spread of ages and perspectives and personalities, fears,
Wow.
which is something to consider too. So how do you create an environment where people are welcome to be there, but at the same time are not complacent and they're being challenged?
Okay. And you don't do that all yourself.
Oh,
You
gosh,
have a
no.
team.
I have an amazing team.
How
In
big
fact,
is your
it is something I'm very grateful for. Yeah, the team of black belts in the dojo is one of the most robust I've seen in my training. So, and I'm feeling just so humbled by the amount of people who are in this dojo and lifting with me. So, and we've come from all over. So much has happened in Phoenix area after COVID.
Right.
As far as
Did COVID shut you down completely?
it shut so many people down, and the fact that our dojo weathered it is just one of the most incredible things. I mean, this dojo was established in 1976 by my sensei.
Okay.
And we're heading into our 50th year, and that is just a remarkable thing for a dojo to be able to say.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And so when did you take over as?
Chief instructor was right before COVID, so I've
Okay,
been doing this for about
so-
6 or 7 years. We've been teaching at the dojo for longer than
Sure,
that.
right.
So, right.
And then how did you handle COVID? So you started, the center started in
76,
50,
yeah.
50 years ago.
Right.
And then you took over, but you took over literally just a couple of years before COVID hit.
That's true.
And you had to shut down. Did you go to remote?
Well, we didn't really shut down. I
Teaching?
think we shut down for about 3 weeks.
Okay.
We went to remote on Zoom, and we
Okay.
made sure that stayed an option for those who were the most concerned or nervous about the situation.
Because you have 80-year-old students.
Well,
or
exactly.
Some of them.
Yeah, and we didn't really have all the facts either. So not knowing
Who
what
knew?
the it was,
Who knew?
you know, it was
Right.
just a virus we didn't fully understand.
Right.
So, but then we did bring it back into the dojo relatively early, as soon as we were allowed to, and we social distanced and we did
Sure.
different measures, and it was interesting to see people respond to that, both in the community and outside of the community, with various opinions as to whether or not we were doing right or wrong.
Right.
And in Arizona, with the added gym situation, which I don't know if you remember, the
I
gym
do.
shut down.
I
That was
do.
another interesting hurdle
Right.
to be a small business owner and try to weather those choices and decisions, and worry, about what people's responses would be to trying to conduct business and keep a place open. So,
I was in when COVID hit. Actually, on February 14th, I landed. I told you I had a multinational school,
yes, you did.
and I had my Asian operations based in Saigon,
Oh my,
and so I had about 100 team members there,
yeah,
and I landed on Valentine's Day.
yes,
I remember it because I was like, I just realized I'm traveling on Valentine's Day.
yeah.
But I arrived because it's a 24-hour house-to-hotel trip
Oh my goodness,
to Saigon from Phoenix.
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
24 hours because of course, you got to drive to your airport. And we don't fly to most Asian cities from Phoenix, so you got to fly to a coastal city. From there, fly somewhere else, and then fly from, say, Tokyo to Tokyo, then from Tokyo to Saigon, and it was just starting to be, really a little more in the
Yeah.
news.
I remember.
And here I am in a very controlled country. Vietnam, China. You know what happened in China? They literally shut the country
everything
down.
down. Oh my goodness.
Vietnam, they shut the borders down.
Yeah.
They eventually shut down the communities, but then they got control of the situation in Vietnam. But they still kept you distanced. They shut down transportation. They shut down the businesses. Then they started shutting down transportation. And then I remember, because I ended up moving out of my hotel room. I had one of my team members get me an apartment
Oh wow.
because I was stuck.
Yeah.
I
you're
needed
just
to be
stuck-
there.
Yeah, exactly.
And I had a whole team coming, and I said, well, you guys wait, because we don't know what's going to, what this is going to entail. And,
Right.
and hospitals for American citizens are a little better in America.
Okay.
I mean, Vietnamese medical system's pretty good.
Yeah.
But still, we didn't know. And so I stayed there with my team there, didn't bring that team in. So I just stayed for a couple months. And
You're kidding me.
and the interesting thing was, literally everywhere you went, you had to have a mask. And I told you I'm a runner. I like to get outside. And so here I am trying to run in the open
Yes.
in a mask.
Ooh.
It's just impossible. And there, if you pull your mask down and you get caught by the local police,
Yeah.
it's not pretty.
I can't imagine it would be.
I tell everyone, I always said, I don't want to go to jail in my country, so all my foreign partners. But I said, I really, really don't want to go to jail in your country.
Right.
So I ended up moving from running on the street, because
Yes.
the gyms were closed there,
Right.
running on the street, to running in a 36-story stairwell.
That's
and
actually
down.
interesting. Yeah. But
And
more private.
Private, so I didn't wear the mask, and
Oh
I would
my
run up.
goodness.
And then I would do calisthenics on the roof.
I bet that was amazing training.
I have some
I bet
great
your quads were
videos.
incredible.
My glutes.
Your glutes.
My glutes.
Oh my
So,
goodness. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the kind of craziness I was going through, which is the same thing we went through here.
But on the flip side, I bet it helped your business, considering that a lot of your education system
Online
was
education
online. I bet
was,
it blew up at
was
that time.
in demand,
Yeah.
we'll say, at a minimum.
Yeah, I would
So-
imagine. As a homeschooler, I had so many people asking me, like, how do I do this? And it was a very interesting time to shepherd other people. And how do you do the homeschooling? How do you
Right.
conduct your life at home, with your kids when they're not
The
allowed to be in
discipline.
school and having discipline?
So
and
we
wearing
had
all the
that.
hats as a mom and a parent or
Right.
and a teacher at the same time.
Well, you have the same thing in your school. Even though mom drops,
Mm-hmm.
I told you I started my kids in a Taekwondo program
Yes.
in Scottsdale. And even though I was with them in the class,
Yes.
that doesn't mean they're really loving what they're doing.
It's true.
And so instilling that energy, excitement that you need in all of your students
Yes.
is a challenge. I mean,
Well,
now
isn't
maybe
that true of everything? How do you inspire a lifetime love of learning,
That's
of whatever the subject is?
whatever it is.
How do you work towards excellence and fall in love with learning and staying in that learning mode, particularly when just kind of going back to the COVID situation, where you saw this onslaught of social media and. I feel like as a family, we lost control of the devices. The devices
Yes.
suddenly became absolutely necessary and
Right.
imperative to the kids having any social connection.
kind of, yeah.
with
Education,
anybody, right?
any-
Through education, friends, anything. So, but then what that does to the mind, as far as learning, I mean, it deadens, it softens, it becomes more passive and entertainment focused,
Right.
rather than being striving towards learning and stretching and expanding the mind. So, it's an interesting challenge, and it's full circle on
And
that.
we're still feeling those effects.
Oh,
And I can tell you right now, 20-something-year-olds, my kids are both,
Yes, that's mine.
have been impacted for life from what we did and forced them into during that time frame.
Well, and bringing it back to a martial arts context, it's an interesting thing because so much control was taken away, the sovereignty of the person
Right.
and their ability to make
To
decisions.
make their own decisions.
And it became about me controlling you so that I was protected,
Right.
and that's a victim mindset. And as someone who's teaching self-defense, intrinsically that goes against your own ability to make choices.
principles, yeah.
So, if I choose to go to the grocery store, that's my choice. It's a sovereign choice, and I'm walking into any type of danger, but I'm making that choice.
Right.
Right? It's I don't need to control the environment in order for me to engage with any part of the world. And it was just a completely flipped on its head. And I think that danger is probably up there with the social dangers that we did and instilled in that generation that went through it.
All right.
So
Well, we could have a whole episode just
We
on
probably
that
could.
conversation. So, and I think we would have a fun one.
I think
because
so,
we have
too.
similar opinions. But so let's talk more about, so what made you end up taking the leadership role in the center?
actually, devotion. It was a loyalty choice. I adored my sensei, and I
Okay.
still think very highly of him. And when he
And
asked
he
me,
was deciding to step down.
yes, he was retiring and moving out of country, and I was already teaching a number of the classes, and so he was just asking me to take that position to shepherd the community. And he gave me permission to say no, but it's one of those things that when you love the community and you love your
Right.
teacher, yeah.
Right. How do you
So-
say no?
Well, you just get boiled alive, is what
That's
happens.
right.
It's just one more responsibility, and it just keeps mounting. So,
That's funny.
yeah, it is funny.
So, what does the school like day-to-day schedule look like for you guys?
Oh, we start classes around 4:30 and
A.M.?
Oh no, 4:30
Oh,
p.m.
p.m.
It's an
Okay.
evening-based
Okay, yeah.
business. So 4:30 to 8:30, 9:30, in that range. So
Okay.
Monday through Thursday. I usually rent out our facility on Friday, and then we train in the morning on Saturdays.
So you rent for events, for other
No, other
more
martial
advanced
arts.
students?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's another huge.
Just to practice, because they don't need necessarily the instruction. It doesn't hurt, but they're looking for more peer-to-peer than student to sensei kind of an interaction.
Well, I mean, so much of martial arts is based on a love of the art,
Yeah,
and
right.
it is very difficult to own your own building or even rent a building in the small business environment that we're in.
Okay.
So when you start talking to other martial artists who have a club basically, and they're trying to figure out where they can train.
Okay.
They're going to parks, they're doing their best, and I definitely feel that those of us who have been blessed with a good sized school and we're able to have our building and have our space, we're not using that building all the time.
To its capacity.
And not to its capacity. And I would love to be able to do that. And as a small business owner, that's where I spend a lot of my time. How do I fill
do we
this
grow?
so that this space that I have is profitable the majority of the day? And in doing that, there's a way to be a benefit to other martial artists. So we have a capoeira team that's absolutely fabulous. They've been with us for about 15 years. They're incredible. And we have an Aikido group that I just think very highly of. I've come to have a great deal of respect for that sensei. She's just remarkable. and a few other clubs that come in and will rent the space in the off times when we're not using it.
Right.
And then they can pour into their students.
So I always, again, going back to, and certainly this
Yes.
show isn't about me, but there's so
No,
many
of course.
parallels. In my online school,
Yeah.
a lot of our students were homeschool
Mm-hmm.
students, so that was the ideal situation. Is
Right.
Parents are kind of the facilitators of learning. I'm the educator and the system behind, teaching the curriculum.
Right.
But it was always interesting to me. I looked at doing this a couple times because online students, homeschool students, remote students, if they're smart, their
Got where
parents
they
are putting them. Yeah, and most of them are really smart, and parents are engaged.
Yes.
They should be coming to you during the 8 to 5 hours because they have that flexibility. They're able to say, well, math starts right after,
Yes.
karate.
Yes.
And karate, we have to drive to, the Chandler Center, and the same would be true with music. The same would, because almost all of those professionals
Yes.
are free or flexible
During the day.
during school day hours.
Well, we have a homeschool Spanish group, a co-op that
Okay.
meets in the dojo, and then I'm actually thinking about marrying my two worlds this next year and starting a hybrid program for homeschoolers,
Yeah.
where we can have a subject matter expert present for each of the different grades during the day when no one is there. In the mornings, I have a Taekwondo group and a Tai Chi group that has space. The Aikido group has some time. And I have a boot camp. They all can use the facility from
Right.
6 to 8, but that middle of the day is an ideal time for homeschoolers to
Right.
use the space and come together and have that social interaction. Have a version of PE as well, but also
Exactly.
be able to do math and do history and come together where
Right.
someone can organize and answer questions, and then the parents are facilitating it. So that's actually a project that is keeping me awake at night
Yeah.
to get going for next
It's
year.
important because of what we were just talking about with the
Yes.
social skills and the gaps that kind of
Yes.
were established through the recent years and the
Yeah.
situation. So
I agree.
anyway, that's a great opportunity for the students in your area
Yes.
to have access to that, because part of the challenge is, again, your
Yeah.
evening classes are probably full.
Yes, they are.
And you
And
and
praise
your
God for that.
facility has defined walls.
Mm-hmm.
So during those peak hours, it's difficult, but during the daytime hours, you have lots of capacity and availability. So
And it should be a blessing for the greater and broader community. And I think that's one of the neat things is, again, how do you serve a community and how are you relevant and involved
Right.
beyond just what the narrow niche that you're in?
yeah,
So, yeah.
very cool. Well,
Yeah.
good, and my hat's off to you for
Well,
being
thank you.
creative in that regard.
Oh, thank you.
I was always we partnered with physical schools overseas.
Yes.
In the U.S., almost all of our kids were homeschooled or schooling from home if their
Yes.
parents weren't actively engaged for whatever reason. Sometimes it was an injury and they couldn't physically go to school.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it was a mindset,
Yes.
or they were being bullied or whatever and just would not go to school.
I understand.
But overseas, we almost always partnered with a physical school. So we had all the infrastructure. Our students had a full day. So we'd have a national school in China
Yes.
who would have 2 classrooms, and they would put us in those classrooms for American Pathway, courses for their kids to take and prepare for those that might, want to eventually travel to the U.S. for university level programs or senior year high school programs.
It makes sense. Totally makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
So-
It's neat that they have the infrastructure, and I think the neat thing about being a homeschooler in Arizona is there's more and more access to what the schools and what our tax dollars do provide.
That's right.
That are a benefit to.
But
to
they
the
miss that
students.
physical component, that social component live,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where
That's why co-ops and hybrid programs are
Yeah,
imperative.
businesses
right?
like yours could really come
And-
in and fill a gap.
Yep,
So-
exactly. We do have a number of homeschool families in our dojo, and I thoroughly just respect what they do, and well, being one of them myself. Yeah, it's a challenge. It's a all hands
So
on deck.
your
type
kids
of
are
environment.
in middle school or high school?
Well, actually, so my youngest is still in middle school. I'm still homeschooling. So as of out of
Okay.
my 4 children, I only have one that is home with
That's
me
home
currently.
now.
Yeah. So I have one that's graduated and already started his own business. So he both works full time and then has his own business. I'm absolutely completely amazed with his entrepreneurial skill and what he's accomplishing. It just blows my mind.
Is he a martial artist?
No, my kids are competitive dancers.
Okay.
Don't know how this happens,
Yeah.
but they're all high-level competitive dancers here in the Valley, and that was the other part of why some people homeschool. We were homeschooling prior to becoming competitive athletes, but it definitely is a reason to homeschool. If you're
Sure.
serious about your education and your training, both in
Right.
athletics and academics, it's a neat way to be able to do both at a high level because
Well,
you
it's
have
the
more
only
flexibility.
way. It's
Exactly.
the only way. We actually
Yep.
worked with a couple of club teams, private academic organizations and schools that were like soccer schools.
Yes.
We had a hockey school that we provided the academics inside of their
Their
ice
training
skating
schedule.
training
Yeah.
center.
Yeah.
And we even put
Brilliant
servers on the bus.
Really?
Because sometimes they're going to a tournament
Mm-hmm.
in Minnesota, they're in Omaha, Nebraska. You got a 12-hour drive, whatever that
Might as well get
is,
your homework done.
and the kids could be doing that while
Right.
they're on the way.
Way
So,
better
yeah.
than sitting there scrolling.
So it's fun talking to someone who truly relates to the school programs that I loved it.
Yeah.
And one of the things, and again, doing what you're doing to expand and really provide more options to the community. We had a bunch of adult parents, single moms,
Yeah.
who didn't finish high school, who started coming back, and
Finishing.
because they weren't going to sit in a classroom full of high school seniors,
Right.
so doing it online was practical. And we would build tools, tutoring tools. We got Lyft involved for transportation if they needed to go to a GED testing center.
Right.
So we would get the community involved in those programs as well to help provide internet to their homes, which some of them didn't have, computers at home, which most of them didn't have. So it was fun, really pushing yourself as a small business owner. The problem came to me.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I was this, wise, all-seeing educator but the problem
No,
came
but you were
in.
wise and a business entrepreneur, and you were able to
Right.
see a need and fulfill it, and that's what an entrepreneur does.
Right.
So you took what your skills were and you put them together to the service of the community.
Yeah, I love that. That's why you asked me before why I'm doing this. It's because I love talking to people like you
Aw.
who are, share in the mindset. And like I said, it keeps me a little relevant in a world where, I don't know how to pick up a 9-iron. They don't fit my hand very
You don't
well,
like
so-
that? Oh.
Unless
There's
I'm-
something so satisfying at
and-
hitting a ball in that sweet spot.
Unless I'm scaring off an unsolicited door-to-door salesman. But
Well, I have better ways of scaring off a.
I don't have your skills in that regard.
I have some suggestions. Come
That's
trade.
So what are your thoughts for the future on your center? Are you looking to expand into
always.
multiple
Yeah.
facilities? Are you?
That would always, I think that would be amazing. There's definitely needs. There's some different situations around the valley if you were inside of our little sub-community. And I do think there's need for some solid martial arts in Phoenix. What Phoenix used to be in martial arts back in the 90s and the early 2000s, and what it is now is a little bit different. So I'm spending a lot of my time, particularly in these last 3 months, trying to connect a lot of those traditional dojos together.
Okay.
We've fallen away from one another in the last 6 years, and we haven't really put a tournament on that showcased in our love of the
Collective,
art. Yeah,
collective
yeah. There's
ability
open
or-
style tournaments. There's different things that are out there. But as far as a tournament that really takes the athletes' efforts and training and marries it with a really high level of refereeing and judging and really giving back to the community in a way that is intentional. So we're trying to bring everyone back
Sure.
together and see if we can get that started
That's cool.
again. And I've been enjoying talking to everyone around Arizona and discovering more dojos and seeing, the little clubs that are, have survived or are licking their wounds from the last
Right.
6 years and
Do you
reconnecting.
have like teams, like club teams, or is it the dojos that would then send their top students to represent them? I mean, do we do tournaments here?
Oh, well, there are a few different circuits of tournaments.
Okay.
As far as the circuit that I'm passionate about is USA Karate. That's the
Okay.
circuit that I'm in, and I made a very conscious decision to be fully invested in this. It wasn't the one I grew up doing as a student. But when I was comparing what was happening in some circuits and what I saw happening in USA Karate, it was the most responsible choice I could
Okay.
make as a business owner. Yes, one, but also as a coach, but as a parent. That would be, if I could look a parent in the eye and say, this is the best situation, that would protect and be the most protective of your athlete while also challenging your athlete to the highest level. So. Yeah, and we just haven't had a USA Karate tournament in Arizona since 2019.
Wow.
Right,
Wow.
we're bringing that back here in November. I'm really excited about that.
And where will that be?
It actually is going to be hosted by it'll be in Arcadia, actually,
Okay.
near the airport. There is a First Chinese Baptist church that is allowing us to use they have an amazing gymnasium in the back,
Oh, wow.
right up against the
Okay.
Papagos. It's a beautiful venue. And we're going to bring out 4 tatamis, 4 rings, and see if we can bring everyone back together and
Fun.
have some fun as athletes. But to answer the question on the clubs, yeah, each dojo is its own club, as
Right.
it were. And there's a few of us that are high-level competitive inside of USA Karate. And actually it was Ray's dojo. You had him on
He's one of
on the
our guests
podcast,
early
and
on.
we've always been very, very close. The 2 dojos are brothers, and we train together. In fact, I help with the stylistic aspect of it and teach and coach our team in Chandler. And then the primary teacher in Scottsdale, Christian, is a fabulous coach, and he actually sits in the chair for our athletes when we go, and he coaches the kids. And a coaching position inside is a really important role. But I'm in the referee role and he's in the coaching role,
Right.
and we work really well together. So
That's
it's there are teams out there, but we're kind of a rare breed that there's 2 different dojos working together as a team.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Because, if you look at other sports or you see like basketball, there's
Yeah.
the schools that have sports, but then there's the club teams.
Yep.
That could be a collection of multiple students from a region.
Yes.
And so I didn't know if maybe that was something that was happening in that space.
Not quite like that. It's it'd be closer to what I see in the dance world. Each school has
Yes.
a recreational aspect of it, but then they also have the sport
Have the
athlete,
competitive side.
aspect of it. So, and I think to be a really well-rounded martial artist, you need to have both of those aspects. The stylistic, you need to know your style.
Yeah.
You need to understand your ruha, which is the things that make your style unique from other styles.
Right.
It doesn't make it better or more superior.
Sure.
There's different traditions, and I think the more you study Karate Do and you look at the differences inside of the styles, the more proficient a martial artist you become.
Okay.
But you need the sport aspect too, because that's where you challenge yourself. You face fears.
Right.
You have to
Right.
think on your feet. You get to wrestle with your instinct of whether it's to freeze, to run away, to face in. There's a lot going on as far as like a stress inoculation.
Right.
So I think those are important. But there's a third wheel or a third leg to the chair, and that's or the stool, whatever you want to call it. But and that's how you apply this to a street fight. And I think that's the thing that sometimes we get idealistic, that if you're a great sport competitor, you're going to be able to fight anything and everything, and it's just not like
Not
that.
true.
You need to be well-rounded. So
Right. Street fight being self-defense.
self-defense,
Of course.
exactly, because there's no rules. Brutality wins, and that is a scary thing as someone who studies it. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So what else is is
would
exciting
be
in
surviving.
in the Chandler area. I haven't been to Chandler in so long.
Oh my goodness, come visit.
I know.
Yeah.
A lot of friends there. And
Yeah.
So, but, you know, and now that we're downtown a lot, I still work and have my company in Scottsdale, so I don't get to travel the valley. And here I am with time, so I'm going to have to make a trip down.
You're going to have to make a trip and come see us. We just teamed up, one of the oldest judo schools in the valley, Heart Judo, a fabulous and amazing tradition, long-standing dojo. We have Heart Judo, yeah. So
Is it related to Ernest Hart?
no, it's run by Sensei Adrian Rivera.
Okay.
And we are now teamed up. He's part of Chandler Martial Arts. His teams come over. They're amazing. It's incredible to have a fully vested and amazing judo team, just fully functioning and just coming together and training in such amazing ways. So that's a neat benefit to working in a martial arts center. You can have a foundational karate background. You can learn judo. And we're actually just starting in January. We're launching a jiu-jitsu program as well. Two amazing instructors are coming over and beginning a club. And again, I think you can't be all one. I think everyone should have a ground game,
Sure.
Particularly women for self-defense. I think that's unique. But to think that only a ground game is going to win the fight, that's a scary place to be. I would rather not be on the ground. If I am there, I need to know how to defend myself. I also need to know how to strike. But how wonderful would it be to throw?
Sure.
More than anything,
Sure.
just drop them.
Sure.
It's the easiest way to get out of
Just
a
to get
situation.
out. Yeah.
So
move,
yeah.
done.
So I think seeing some of the different people coming together, again, from these different traditions and really building up something new going forward is, it's just beautiful right now. So what's happening in Chandler is remarkable.
So I listened to Rogan,
Yeah.
being a podcast.
Oh, my husband loves Rogan.
Man, he talks about being how committed and how the lifestyle is of that particular discipline. So
Yeah, it's a lot. As a trainer, I think it's also kind of interesting to see because each of the disciplines rob from the other disciplines. So as a personal trainer, as someone who is a strength coach, looking at how do you train your body to be able to hold an iso hold without robbing your actual explosive strength and your flexibility that would take away. I mean, it's just an interesting balancing act of all of those different pieces and making them peak right in time for your battle, your fight. My hat's off to what they're accomplishing. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of that, and I've had the pleasure of being able to be ringside a couple times, and it is just amazing.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
So in your business, let's talk a little bit about that. Do you have? I mean, how do you promote? Is it almost all word of mouth? Are you?
We had been word of mouth for many, many years, and it's a powerful thing because I think there's nothing that actually is a better testimony than someone saying, come do this, this is amazing.
Saying, you're good.
There you go. And I think that's how we survived COVID was the word of mouth. But I recently started working with marketing sensei, and it is...
they specifically market for dojos, gyms like yours.
Yes, and it has just been amazing to see the growth that's happened and the enthusiasm. So, marketing is a huge piece, and I think we've joked because your whole business was, school online, and you asked me once about my IT experience, and I confessed that my superpower is anti-tech. Tech tends to blow up around me. So it's just been amazing to have someone who is in that tech world that can do that social media piece and drive the marketing for the business. If they'll come and they get involved in the community, they love it. It's a matter of bringing people, letting people know that we exist and that we're there, and that isn't my strength. Right. So, and that's hard as a small business owner because you kind of have to be the master of all.
You have to have enough information to know if you can do this or if you need help doing that. And that's where a lot of our audience struggles is because a lot of times it comes down to budget. What's in the budget to do this versus do that?
And how much of it do you invest in it, and is it a sound investment? So
but again, there are certain things you have to do now in today's world. and it's interesting you talk about it, and we have a sponsor who's an IT services company,
Yes.
mbps.com. But, one mistake, and you've just,
Pay for it
exposed
for a
your
while.
client information. You have 150 people that trust you with,
Yes.
for example, their payment information, their home address, their personal contact information. You got to keep that safe. You have
Yes.
the same thing with your marketing. It's so you have stakeholders that expect you to stay in business. You got 150 students that show up
Yes.
to your business they need you to be there. They want you to be there. So you've got to do the right things, and spending money poorly on a bad design of a marketing campaign is putting your business at risk.
100%.
So doing those things, hiring the wrong employees, or not nurturing and growing the right employees. So it's interesting, and that's how we started the show, is really talking about
What keeps you awake at
what
night?
keeps you awake.
And
Those
it
are
would
the
be being a
things.
bad steward, and how do you protect your community and staying focused on what your goal is. So if each decision is measured to, does this benefit the community? Is this what it would be right? Is this being a good steward for them? That's going to be the driving question behind everything.
Sure.
So yeah, to your point, yeah, this is the most important thing. And I don't want to draw from it. I want to make sure that I give back to the community, and that I can hand this dojo to somebody when the time is right.
When it's right.
And they can continue it. And someday someone will be sitting here being interviewed going, it's 150 years old. And I think that would be, to be a part of that legacy. would be
Great story
huge.
to tell.
Yeah.
Now, does your husband get involved in the business?
He is not a martial artist. He does not want to be a martial
He
artist.
doesn't want to be.
He's very patient with me. He's the, martial artist widower, I guess. But he's very patient with my love for the art.
All right, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, how do people get a hold of you if they're listening, they have kids or
Yeah.
entrepreneurs, they want to balance their life doing martial arts after the long days at the office?
Oh, nothing relieves stress more than
Yeah.
hitting something. It is so satisfying, and particularly women when they come in and do any self-defense. It's so funny to see them say, "I wish I was doing this before." I don't think particularly women understand how stress relieving it is to hit a bag or just have a satisfaction of moving and having that moment of kime, that moment of focus, and then a relaxation. So it just.
Well, my wife would tell you it's
Yeah.
true that every time she hits me late at
Oh
night,
no!
it relieves her stress.
Does it relieve her stress?
Now, of course, I probably created the initial stress.
This might be true. But yes, Chandler Martial Arts Center, our website is actually the abbreviation of our name, so cmacus.com.
CMAC
Yep.
or
CM
US.
US, CMACUS.com.
Okay.
So, or just, type it in Chandler Martial Arts Center. It should pop right up. And the most important, you referenced this as in a previous conversation that we had, the most important person that is in the school is our white belts. If we don't have white belts that are coming in through the door, and
Right.
the barrier to entry is that fear, facing the fear
Right.
of being the new person in a community, being the awkward person walking on a mat. But man, if you've got that, if you can face that fear, I can make everything else calm. I can definitely create an environment that you feel welcomed in. But I honor that. The people who walk into the school and are willing to brave that, they're already warriors.
Right.
So now it's just a matter of teaching how to hit effectively.
And then
That's
after a
easy.
while, then your confidence level raises outside of the dojo, outside of the gym. So
Oh, it blooms everywhere, and you've got a community behind you. And I think that's one of the most important things is belonging to a community and having your people.
And age isn't a factor. I mean,
No, there's nothing. I mean, we want you to be about 4 years old if you start, but beyond that, no. We have people that have been training, well past their 70s. Like I said, some of my most favorite students have been bridging over. We just trained as a nation and inside of our style and our federation, and yeah, it's just incredible to see one of my favorite people battling Parkinson's, but still out there, still jumping, despite the fact that he's not supposed to be able to jump.
Right.
That's
That's cool.
That's a huge part of cognitive ability. So
Right.
I think karate is unique. Karate is one of the most incredible sports that can that can test, train across the your lifespan. It's not
Right.
something that's just when you're in your youth.
And you're in high school, right?
It has something for everyone at each different level in their age.
It's interesting, just to bring up one other point.
Yeah, please.
My oldest graduate
Yeah.
was almost 80,
No way.
high school.
Oh, I love that.
I had some interesting students, like he came back because successful man financially,
Yes.
but it always bothered him that he didn't graduate high school.
Yep.
Another grandmother, 55-year-old grandmother, came back because her grandson was going to drop out of school. And his argument
Well, you
was,
did it.
Grandma did it, she's
Yeah.
fine.
Jeez.
So she said, you go back, I'll go back. This is too important. So it's never too late for most things,
No.
but certainly it's never too late to be engaged in life.
It's interesting. I got my GED as well. So I went to a private all girls high school,
Okay.
and it came to a point where I needed to be able to take certain classes they just didn't have, they couldn't offer. And so I had enrolled at ASU, and I was in ASU doing summer school, taking some of these classes at like 16 years old, and then realized this is a heck of a lot cheaper
Yeah.
than going back to this all girls Catholic high
All-girls
school.
Catholic, yeah.
So I came up with this whole business plan for my parents, a PowerPoint presentation at that time, and said, here's how much money you'd save if you just let me stay in college. So I technically dropped out of high school and went to college. They didn't catch that I hadn't gotten my degree. So when I went to graduate, and my passion was exercise
Right.
physiology and sciences,
Okay.
because there were a few different reasons why, but so much of this had to do with being an athlete and having some bad coaching and wanting to make sure I always had control over my body, but also was always going to be a coach that would protect others and make sure that there wasn't mistakes made, well-intentioned coaching mistakes
Sure.
made that harm an athlete. So I went to graduate, and lo and behold, they wouldn't give me my diploma unless I got a high school diploma first. So I had to go back and take a GED, which was really entertaining. So, but yeah, it was amazing to sit in that room and look around and see who else was taking that test. And the stories that were in there. So it was a very humbling experience.
Those are the stories that make the most difference, most impact on someone like me.
Yeah.
Because we had over 20,000 students that finished our adult program, our alternate high school program. And
amazing.
their stories on what they were trying to achieve, because again, one student who's almost 80 who did it for most people don't go back to high school because they want to.
Right.
They go back because they have a specific need. I can't do this if I don't do that.
Yep.
And those stories were great. And the photos we got from our students that came back in their 20s, who graduated and then went on to graduate in university or community college level programs.
Right.
Those were the best stories of all.
I would imagine.
So, well, with that, we'll wrap this episode. Thanks to everyone watching. Make sure you like this episode. I think it's going to be one of our top ones. Subscribe to the podcast if you haven't. Refer whatkeepsyouawake.tv to your friends, your peers. Also, if you're looking for, a program for yourself, your family, your employees, probably work great incentive programs for
Definitely.
small businesses. Look up Chandler Martial Arts Center.
And we work with the ESA program, so if you're a homeschooler, come on in.
There you
So
go.
we have some different benefits for homeschoolers as well.
All right. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next episode.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelley. That was fun.